Good Monday morning, South Carolina weather watchers. I am your meteorologist, Joseph Peterson, and let's go ahead and talk about the weather for your Monday. Starting off, what is going on right now throughout the entire state of South Carolina? Well, it looks nice and dry right now. No rainfall going on statewide. But if we go on and scroll our way out, see what's going on throughout the entire U.S., we do have some rainfall activity in areas like Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, Iowa, up into the Dakotas, Minnesota, have rainfall throughout all these areas, and then even in Arizona, Utah, Nevada, we have some rainfall through those areas, and New York receiving some rainfall activity. But for the most part, except for maybe areas of North Carolina getting some storms, I think that is about all. And then if we want to take a look at our cloud cover, we do have some cloud cover. We do have some cloud cover, PD, Grand Strand, parts of the Low Country, Midlands as well. But it's not completely widespread. Not looking at completely widespread cloud cover this morning. Upstate, seeing some clouds up there, but not much. We'll look at that cloud cover for the future as well. Push this over into later on this morning. We get into here's noon, and things are still looking pretty good. We get into 2 p.m., 3 p.m. or so, and then you can start to see some isolated spots of cloud cover popping up. That is from shower and storm activity going on. And we see a lot near the coastal areas, Grand Strand, Low Country, parts of the PD, even here at 9 p.m. We get to around 12 o'clock in the morning, and we start to see some more cloud cover start to come in from the upstate. And then if we want to take a look at our current temperatures right now, we're talking about 82 Beaufort, 81 Somerville, 83 Charleston, as well as 80 in Georgetown, 80 Myrtle Beach, and 78 in Conway, 78 Orangeburg, and 77 in Columbia, 73 in Newberry, and 71 in Lawrence, Greenville, Spartanburg, Gaffney, York, and Rock Hill. Now, what about for our air quality? We look good for today for a good amount of us, but most of us are still inside of that moderate category. That's again from Florence to Myrtle Beach to Columbia to Charleston, North Charleston, Augusta. These areas all have a moderate risk of air quality for today. Again, if you are in that area, please make sure that you are paying attention for that. And then if you're not inside the yellow, you're inside the good category. So you don't have to worry about anything too much. High temperatures for today, we're talking about 90 in Greenville, 89 Spartanburg, as well as 93 Columbia, 94 inside of Walterboro, Orangeburg, 92 in Charleston, and even 91 in Georgetown, 88 Myrtle Beach, and 94 inside of Aiken. If we look at those heat index values today as well, we're talking about max temperatures trying to get up to around 106, 107 degrees or so, maybe even close to 108. But I don't think we're going to reach 110 or anywhere around that side. But around 103 all the way up to 106, maybe a degree or two more. But that's about it in terms of heat index values. Everybody else is going to be at 100 or less. Winds for today. Here's our winds. Sustained winds around 3 miles an hour at the lowest. Could get up to around 10 miles per hour near the coastal areas, but kind of between those two margins. And then as we go into our actual wind gust, could potentially be up to around 8, 9, 10 miles per hour, trying to get up to around 16, 17, 18 or so. Now, what about for rainfall as we move throughout the next 24 hours? Well, we see around a hundredth of an inch to a tenth of an inch in areas like Dillon, like King Street, like Barnwell, like maybe even a tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch in areas like Moncks Corner, Georgetown, Charleston, Hilton Head Island, and Myrtle Beach may even see a quarter of an inch to a half an inch. So we could see a good amount of rainfall today, especially near those coastal areas where the majority of thunderstorm activity is possible. Now, just because it says a quarter of an inch to a half an inch does not mean that flash flooding still cannot happen. This does not include flash flooding, so flash flooding is not included with that map. So we could see more. Now, here is the crazy score. We're at a 3 right now. Calm, pleasant conditions right now. No significant weather threats across the state. We do have a slight risk of severe weather for today over there near Myrtle Beach going into Georgetown. There is a slight risk of severe weather. Why? Well, there's also a 15% risk of damaging winds in that yellow area. 15% risk of damaging winds. If you are in that yellow area, please make sure that you're paying attention because you have the highest threat of severe weather for today. If you're in the dark green, you have a 5% risk of damaging wind gusts of up to 60 miles per hour. And if you're in the light green, no risk of damaging winds, but you never can rule out some strong storms producing some gusty winds. And then we also do have a threat for some hail as well. No tornado, but a hail threat is with us here. We look at Today's hail threat, you can see areas over there in the PD, the Grand Strand, 5% risk of flash flooding is possible as we move over into today. So we could see some isolated small hail, some isolated large hail, excuse me. But this is what we're looking at now in terms of the official risk. And then excessive rainfall along the coastal areas from Horry down through Georgetown, down through Charleston, Dorchester, Berkeley, Colleton, down into Beaufort. We have a 5% risk of flash flooding. 5% risk of flash flooding. So isolated flash flooding is definitely possible as we move over into today. So let's go on now and take a look at our rainfall for the models. We're going to start off here at 8 a.m. And then as we go on and push this to around 11 a.m. all the way to 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. and onward, you don't see a lot. But watch as you get to around 2 to 3 p.m., showers and storms start to pop up in areas of the low country. And then as you get all the way to around 5 p.m., 6 p.m., all the way over to 7 o'clock, we're seeing shower and storm activity again going on from areas of the low country to areas of the PD to areas of the Grand Strand and just to all of these areas by 8 p.m. You go all the way to 10 p.m. and onward to 12 o'clock in the morning. And we see a lot of that rainfall activity kind of just training over and over throughout some of these areas that have already seen rainfall. So, we could see some heavy rainfall, some good rainfall for sure, trying to move its way into these areas. And how much rainfall could we potentially receive? Well, it seems like right now, maybe around an inch and a half for some spots. Some areas may get up to an inch. Down here in the very far low country area, could see, around 2/10, 4/10, a half an inch or so. So that's why it's isolated flash flooding, just because the confidence isn't really there too much. But for the most part, it does look like that there are a couple of spots that could see a lot of rainfall. But that's pretty much all I have to say here for the models. For the tropics, we know disturbance 1 up here, there's 50% risk of further development is possible of the system, but a short-lived tropical depression or storm could potentially become that throughout the next couple of days here. And this has no threat to South Carolina. Disturbance 2, tropical wave is expected to move off the west coast of Africa later today, and an area of low pressure could form in association with the wave early this week. Conditions are forecasted to become marginally conducive for development, and a tropical depression could form by the middle to latter portion of this week. So this has a 10% chance of forming over the next 48 hours and a 50% chance over the next 7 days. So we do have a lot to kind of look at here in terms of the tropics, but we're only really watching for that bottom one, disturbance 2, the top one that's going up to the north, no threat to South Carolina. And that's all I have to say. So if you have not hit the like button yet or the subscribe button yet, please go on and do so. We're 826, trying to get to that main goal of 900. Also, make sure that you go on and hit the share button. Share with your friends, your family members, your acquaintances, people that you don't talk to regularly, because it's free and it always will be. I will be back tonight, 8 o'clock p.m., with your Monday evening forecast, and make sure that you are there for that. And then also make sure that you tune in tomorrow morning for your Tuesday morning forecast update. Hit those two buttons before you leave if you're new.